I'm your host, Eric Crow Draven. It's official. Welcome to the Cipher. Welcome. I've been expecting you. I have. To whom it may concern, they say life is about choices. When you want better, you put yourself in a position to do better. You see, I come from a place where those who look like me don't often make it past their 18th birthday alive or without a jail record. Maybe I shouldn't be writing this, but music, the streets, and sports, we look as a way out of our poverty. Dysfunctional families, failing public education system with uninspired teachers and invisible role models. Experience build character. It is the windows to my past that reminds me of who I was and where I'm from compared to who I am, what I've accomplished.
Let's take it to the streets. Take it to the streets.
So my first question to you is, what is poetry?
Poetry is, and this is how I teach it to my class, poetry is anything that sits on the heart, political, romantic, whatever it is, personal. If it sits on the heart and you can put it on paper, that's poetry.
Poetry is an expression, usually an expression of self. For me, poetry is layers of me.
Is there a difference between hip hop and poetry?
Hip hop is poetry with a beat. I think hip hop is poetry with a beat.
Okay.
I think there's a difference. I think you can use one as the other if you force it, but I think it's different. To me, my poetry is just based, it's not always based on me, but it's based on my feelings about whatever the agenda is. And I think that hip hop is more for people, whereas my poetry is for me.
So poetry to you is more personal?
It's very personal for me.
Okay. I agree. If you had to choose, do you have a favorite style of poetry?
If I had to choose, I guess I don't have a favorite style. I don't have a favorite style because poetry moves me, no matter the type. It could be something like a limerick or a haiku, whatever it is. It just, poetry moves me. I don't have a favorite style.
If you had a message for the younger generation coming up, what would it be?
Be just. Be just. Because everything you do, everything you put out will come back to you.
I agree. Yeah.
To love yourself and express yourself as often as possible and know yourself. And I think poetry does that for a lot of people.
What myths have you heard about, or should I say, what misconceptions have you heard about poetry and poets?
The misconception is that we're all doing drugs, that we don't have day jobs, that poetry is just this, it's a continual flow of our blues and we just write poetry for the seemingly endless pit that we're in, but that's not true about all poets. Yeah.
Beautiful, thank you.
Okay.
I haven't heard any myths.
Because I've gone to a few spots and people are like, oh, they heard all poets wear like the berets and snap their fingers. And
Oh, well. Yeah, I guess I did hear things like that, or see it on a show or something, but it doesn't matter. Poetry is, you know, whatever the person is, whatever that person feels. It's different for everybody.
Okay, tell me the first word that comes to mind. So I'm gonna tell you a few words, and you say the first word that comes to mind.
Okay.
All right. Sex.
More sex.
Nice. Poverty.
Hunger.
Youth.
Elders.
Struggle.
Fight.
Tomorrow.
Today.
You. Y-O-U.
Me.
Okay.
Youth.
Power.
Tomorrow.
The future.
Money.
Poverty.
Sex.
Love.
You. Y-O-U.
God.
Welcome.
Okay.
It's official. Welcome to the Cipher.
I've been expecting you. I once heard a poet refer to her body as a crime scene. Dad, my body is a crime scene. It's been 6 years, and I still reek of virgin's blood and old man's semen. I know you smelt it that night, but you chose to ignore. You probably thought that I was begging for it, that those cowards were indeed being real men, but that's not the problem here, no. The problem here is me. I can't say no to another problem. Mom thinks it's post-traumatic stress. She thinks I need that good old professional help. She is sending me to a shrink that. If that shrink starts questioning my childhood, what should I say? That it was sweet, that I was daddy's little girl. What was so sweet about this little girl growing up to be just like her daddy? I know you don't want to hear this. How over the years my body has been a used up condom left on the rooftop, a back seat, a staircase. How they enjoy making a vacuum cleaner out of me, but the sucker needs to stop now. I think mom is right. I think I do need help. I seem to have lost my respect. Perhaps it's underneath Christopher's shoes or in between Matthew's teeth, or maybe it's just stuck inside Andrew's wallet, but I need it back, Dad. And respect does not give a fuck about double standards, so I think it's time you get yours back too. I think I saw it on our neighbor's lips the other night, or maybe the mail lady has it along with her packages, but I know mom hasn't seen it for years. See, we both need that help. We both should go to that shrink together. It'll be like a father and daughter session, so what do you say? No? Why? You think the shrink will shrink what's left of it too? When I'm done being the lock to your closet. How many more skeletons, huh? I would need 2 more pair of hands to count all of mine. My body left no survivors, just fingerprints. And I'm getting tired. I think I'm getting sick too. I think it's because of you. I think I need to let you go. I think you're no good. Dad, you're no good. And I'm no better. But I will get better.
I desire for my words to pierce your brain, fragmenting your skull into innumerable pieces, thereby causing your cerebellum to swell and expand with their weight. The piercing causing an echoing in your brain, echoing and ringing in your ears. The syllables, listen, listen. I have something to say. See, lodged into your heart are metaphors and similes of what is to come and will always be. Pieces of me. Each thought becomes a throbbing as my projectile pulsates, the pounding in the gray hemispheres of your gray matter, causing you to rethink every thought you thought before. You see, my words are like bullets. Ready, aim, fire.
I see you watching me behind closed eyes, describing my shape and my size. See, I don't fit that normal motor style. I'm not that average type you approach. No, I'm not slender in the waist, but I'm full of charm and grace. And no, I don't wear size 6, but hey, that don't stop my body from doing tricks. See, I've got more moves than a gymnast. I know I'm not that petite type. I don't need you to stand up for me in a fight. Matter of fact, with my size, I've got your back. And with my love, you won't need Jack. So no, I don't have big girl blues. Cause see, my size holds the true clues on how to love and seduce you. See, the magic between my thighs comes from the amazement in my size. So no, I don't have big girl blues, nor do I wish I wore a size 2. Cause see, with my size, there's more to do. There's hugging, cuddling, and keeping warm between my bosoms during a winter storm. So watch my stride. I move with sincere pride. I don't walk, I strut, giving you a better look at my big sexy butt. And when we dine, I won't be having salad and wine, no. It's a big juicy steak and a beer, and honey, if yours is too big, then I think we can share. So no, I don't have big girl blues. Let me reiterate that for all of yous. I don't have big girl blues. See, I happen to be bodaciously, buxomly beautiful. So once again, I'll say it, I don't have big girl blues. And all you big girls, when you have big girl blues, you spend one moment in time in these shoes.
Welcome to the Cipher.
I've heard so many stories of other people's lives, and all I ever wanted to do was to share a piece of mine. See, as a young girl growing up, I used to just stand there, staring at myself in the mirror, saying things like, I wish I wasn't here. See, I tried to ignore the voices comparing the prettier girls to myself, but let me tell y'all a little secret. I used to wake up wishing I was somebody else. If I was like her, I could rock even skinny jeans. If I was like her, I would have everything I want and wouldn't have to worry about what I need, because if I was like her, everyone would like me. Growing up, I struggled, but I don't know one person who hasn't. The struggle made me stronger, because I didn't just sit back and watch it happen. Anytime I was scared that my daddy wasn't coming home, I'd sit alone in my room and say really mean things about my mom, like if I wasn't like her, then he would come back home to me, and if I wasn't like her, then he would never leave. Tried my very best to be everything that she wasn't. Couldn't even stand to be around her no more, cause she just pushed all of my buttons, but then something told me you don't know what something is until you've had nothing. I used to say I wouldn't treat my kids the way my parents did, but then I got thinking, what if I became everything I said that I wouldn't? So instead, I've learned to love my mother and appreciate the fact that sometimes we are just like each other. Now, metaphorically, metamorphically, I want to get under your skin and crawl next to your conscience the way a really catchy song can lyrically cause this broken battle between broken records, broken battle. Between broken records, replaying the same nonsense like a jukebox for open minds. You can pay me with song sense, gather everybody around, cause this is some common sense. It don't take dollar bills to change, but that's just common sense. It always seems the grass is greener in somebody else's yard, but once we get the green, we forget everything we once were, and once we get the green, we forget where we came from and fail to appreciate what we had all along. Now, I never thought I had a lot, but a pocket full of dreams and a rhythm in my heart to keep me dancing through the feet. All I ever wanted was for people to be proud of me. And I've learned the only ones who really matter are the ones I call my family.
You are not who they tell you you are. Yaki black number 219, hands flapping as Japanese fans. Patting your head aggressive. You are not what they tell you you are. Muscle tissue filled backsides, mimicking, mocking the natural form, exploiting mind. Self-esteem dies in long mirrors. With backs flat as planes, pump fat to be attractive. You are not your grandmother who never left Brooklyn to visit another borough. States were off limits and foreign countries, as she put it, have diseases. Telling her grandchildren, baby, home is where the heart is. You are not without dreams bigger than those neighborhood blocks keeping you hostage. News programs show aerial views and you watch to catch a glimpse of unknown places. What they tell you is you are ignorant. And education prohibits growth. Money for acrylic nails and clothes come from retail chains worn as career belts. Priorities mask and name brand living, leaving futures barren. They tell you in 1950s songs that science and math ain't no place for beautiful black girls. Wondering where they think your place is, crawling through condescending tones for answers. You are not too dark to be gorgeous without bleaching cream, and you are not light enough to be white because you are not. You are not a mistake. You are voices silenced before words are spoken. Needs ignored with cyclical language. Question the lack of investment in you and then make your own deposit. Abandoned pyramids no one wants to excavate because, well, it's hard work getting to the core. The riches, the daughters of queens without a throne, Jews or land, fresh-faced recipients of God's revelation. Taught from young to have steel shoulders as earth is placed on them. Waiting in society's cesspool of image will climb out and dry off and realize you are creative mountains looking down on clouds. Life changes, fearless dreamers walking electricity, the embodiment of power. Inhale deep. As centuries of our ancestors shed Nile River tears of love on you, our beautiful black girls, as you are.
Today, I come before you, a product of my past, outliving many of my failures and my elders. Let today be the testimony of persistence and faith. Let today prepare me for tomorrow.
This is so beautiful.
I
love children. This motherfucker right here. Fucking nigga. All right, so, all right, the first question is, if your life was a reality show, what would it be titled and what would we see?
Oh man, I ain't studied for this test.
Come on now.
If my life was a reality show, what would it be titled?
Yes, sir.
And what would we see?
Yep.
If my life was a reality show, it'd probably be called You Only Live Once, so why not? You know, similar to Chance, take chances, stop taking life and thinking what if. What will you see? Oh my goodness, you'll see a whole bunch of recklessness. Cause you gotta think about it. Like, I work with kids, so I'm disrespectful to my students. Like, I keep it real with them. So like I tell them the truth. I don't sugarcoat things like other teachers or other educators. I keep it real with them at all times. You'll see kids. You'll see the hustle of me leaving work and going to a poetry show, or the hustle of leaving work going to a meeting before the poetry show, then going to another meeting. After the poetry show, you'll see the poetry show. You'll see how I'm reckless in every way. You'll see a whole bunch of fuck yous in it. A whole bunch of just like real. Like, if I put a camera in my classroom, that alone could be a reality TV show. So my reality TV show would be a spin-off of my classroom, and it'd be crazy.
That's hot.
Yeah.
I may have to talk to you about that.
It gets crazy like that.
All right. What impact did the presence or absence of your father have on your journey?
Not having my father around pretty much made me more of a man today than I think I could have ever been. My mother played both roles. Like most dudes who I know, and most of the gentlemen who I know, they only have their father figures at home. So it played a huge role because it showed me how I had to respect my mother more. My mother played both roles, and she did a great job at doing both. And because of my father's absence, it made me more of a man. And then when I finally did meet him for the first time when I was 16, I realized, like, it was a moment. I went back home to Colombia and I met him. And when I met him after the initial meeting, I was just like, maybe this would work out. Maybe I could keep in touch with him. So I tried my best. I wrote him letters. He never wrote back. So I was just like, you know what? He wasn't there for the first 16, so he ain't gonna be there for the next however long I have. So it wasn't a big deal for me, you know. But it just made me more of who I am. Made me a better person. Made me realize how important I am to my daughter and the impact I have on my daughter, and why I'm so big on just always trying to be there for my daughter. Even like, you know, even when she calls me and I have to take 3 trains to get to her, I'm just like, she calls me, I have to be there. So, you know, his negative became my positive. So I appreciate you. Love ya. I love it.
It's real talk. They say that movies give insight to a way a person views the world and themselves. With that being said, what is your favorite movie and why?
Yes. I got a couple of favorite movies for different reasons. Like, I enjoyed Shawshank's Redemption, because this was a man who was falsely accused and went through all his struggles, and went through life, you know, trying to prove to everybody else that he wasn't guilty. So when everybody came at him and, you know, the warden came at him and started making him do random shit, he was just like, you know what, I'm gonna use everything you throwing at me and benefit from it, and I'm still gonna get out of it. So like most of the people who live in the hood, they take what the hood gives them and turns all of that into a positive reality for them. You know, like you don't know what it's like to be up and down a pissy elevator unless you've been in one. And how that changes you, how that pushes you to become more of a person, how that pushes you to become more in life and do more for yourself. I got a lot of favorites, but Shawshank Redemption, like, that comes on all the time. I can watch it. Armageddon, the way Bruce Willis at the end, he gives his life for his daughter to have happiness. I see that in me. Like, I'd do anything for my daughter. Like, even if I have to take my own life just so she can be happy, like, that's something that I would have to do.
Feel you. What has poetry done for you?
In all honesty, like, I tell people that it keeps a lot of us out of jail. I mean, the only reason we write, and I say it in one of my pieces, I only write to keep one more unoccupied cot in prison cells. If I didn't have the knack for writing or didn't have the ability to write, I would take out all my aggression on whoever it was I was angry at. So instead, I figured, being that I'm an asshole, the best thing to do is write about you, show up to your spot, and talk about you while you're sitting in the audience looking at me talk about you and then wondering, oh shit, is he talking about me? And then you can't do anything about it. And if you do, you know, I fight good, so it works out for me, honestly. But it's opened up a lot of doors. I've met so many people due to poetry. I've been able to travel. I've been able to meet people. I've been able to rub elbows with people that I wouldn't any otherwise been able to. And most importantly, is something that Jive said, I am now accepted by the schools that rejected me when I was trying to get into those schools while I was getting out of high school. So it's funny how when you were trying so hard in your grades to try to get into these special schools and these Ivy Leagues, they didn't want you, but now that, you know, you have a way with words, they call you up like, hey, come teach a poetry class, and it's great. So I enjoy it. It's done a lot. Yeah, it's done a lot for me.
Nice. What is the most expensive thing you have ever given away for free?
The most expensive thing I've ever given away for free. I don't even know how to answer that. Like, I work with kids, so every day I give them my time. My time is most valuable. When a young artist comes into the scene, I try to take them under my wing. I mean, so if anything, it would be, that's a poet answer. That's such a poet answer, my time. But yeah, my time, I mean, other monetary things is like, when I go back home, I pack up a whole duffel bag and a book bag, and I really just bring back my book bag and leave my whole duffel bag of clothes back home. And, you know, I give a lot of my time. My time is irreplaceable, so that's the most valuable thing I've ever given away for free.
Last question I'm going to ask you. If it was up to you, how would you like to be remembered?
Everybody likes a bad guy. So you have to remember the bad guy. Would I like to be remembered like that? I know I'm gonna be remembered like that by a lot of people. One thing I can say, that one way I would like to be remembered is someone who was always there for you, even when you didn't want him to be there for you, and an individual who did his all to make sure that if you didn't have that, you had it. And that's in just so many realms. My students, if they need something, whether it's for personal reasons, graduation, prom, whatever, I try to give that to them. My family, when they need me, and you know, I'm doing other things and they call me, I drop everything and go to them. Even the haters, you know, like, I'm there to make them realize that the reason why I still exist is because of what I do. I'm real honest with everyone, and I tell people how it is. And some people don't like that, and they'll remember me for that, while other people remember me for other things. So in all honesty, you know, people gonna remember you for what they want to remember you, regardless of what you say. But as long as I'm remembered either in a positive or negative way, hey, you thought about me, so it's your fault, not mine.
No doubt. I appreciate your time, brother.
Yes, sir.
My yesterdays has given me hope for today. I see you in the future. My last rites. I'ma do something y'all ain't never heard me do. It's Crow. What else would you expect, baby? In the blink of midnight. In the blink of midnight. Everything can change. In the blink of midnight. Just in that blink. In the blink of midnight. I woke up today. Mind on my money. I got bills to pay. I work too damn hard for it to stay the same. Lord knows there gotta be a better way. Don't wanna bet my freedom there, take it away. So I say, fight for what's yours, don't you